And I tried, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, man your battle station, And of course, the great Ali was famous for saying, I'm so pretty, I'm ready to rumble, rumble, young man, rumble. And Boudini Brown would join in, and they'd go with float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So I started to say, let's get ready to rumble.
Man, should we have him bring it in?
Please, brother, please. That would be so awesome.
Do you do the...
We can do something, of course.
Can we get a let's get ready to hotbox?
And now for the thousands in attendance and the millions around the world who wish they could be here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for hotboxing!
Yes! Yeah! Oh, that was awesome. Well, there it is, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hotbox, and I'm Evan Britton.
And I'm Mike Tyson.
And Mike, we've got the voice in here today, man.
No doubt about it. 35
Michael Buffer.
years. I've heard it for 35
Good to be here.
years, man.
Wow.
35 years. Yeah. Wow.
That's amazing.
What was that like the beginning back in 1985?
Jeez, I started in 82. I was a disaster. The first...
By 85, you were a pro, though, huh?
By 85, I was introducing you by 85, man.
Wow.
Mike was doing 4-rounders and 6-rounders, and you were like fighting every 6 weeks.
Yeah, I was fighting. Listen, I had 15 fights in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And people today, they're amazed by that. But, you're a student of the game, and you go back and you look at Sugar Ray Robinson, who I still think is the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in the history of the game. But when he fought Jake LaMotta, he was 40-0.
Yes.
He had already fought LaMotta once and beaten him. This is now in their second fight.
This is
and remember,
remarkable. Listen to this, guy.
Ray,
all over the world, listen to this.
Ray was a welterweight, and Jake was a middleweight. 14 pounds didn't make any difference. They fought because they were just the hottest fighters in New York at the time. They fight a second time, and LaMotta wins the fight. His first loss, he's 40-0, but he's still a welterweight. They fight again 21 days later.
Yes.
But wait, it gets better. Ray fights a 10-rounder in between.
Before he fights him.
Amazing.
Somebody.
And then he wins. And then
Tell him
over his next 80 fights, Sugar Ray Robinson goes undefeated over his next 80 fights until he fights for the light heavyweight championship.
But do you see that reign? He lost in his 40th fight and then went undefeated for like 80 fights.
That's crazy. It's unbelievable.
He went 40-0, lost one, then went undefeated for 80.
It's unbelievable.
Who was the guy that he fought for the light heavyweight title?
Joey Maxim.
Joey Maxim.
I knew Mr. Maxim real well before he died. I knew him real well.
Great story there, too.
He was a great storyteller, too.
The way, in those days in New York, you had to weigh in the morning of the fight.
Yes.
Now, today, any light heavyweight or any middleweight that's going to fight at super middleweight or light heavyweight comes in at the limit. They put on the weight because they're all they're all emaciated when they weigh themselves in the day before.
Yeah.
So try to imagine this. Ray's fighting for the light heavyweight title. He's the middleweight champion.
Yes.
He weighs in at 159 pounds. He's fighting for the light heavyweight title. He walks around at 159 every day. He weighs in at 159. Joey Maxim weighs 173, whatever, because in those days the guys were that's what they weighed. Mm-hmm. The fight gets postponed at Yankee Stadium because of thunderstorms, electrical storms. It's a Saturday night. They reschedule for Monday night, Yankee Stadium.
Monday.
And they have to weigh in again on Monday morning.
Listen.
And if that happened today, those guys would be 20 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They would never do that today,
Absolutely.
And the only reason Ray lost is because in those days, the fighter didn't swallow his water between rounds. You went like this and spit it out.
Yeah.
They weren't really up on hydration.
Yeah.
They carried the referee out of the ring after the 10th, 11th round.
Yeah,
Ruby Goldstein, right?
They had to carry the ref.
He passed out. Alternate referee comes in.
Too hot.
Ray lost 10 to 15 pounds.
Yes.
And passed out at the end of the 14th, and he was ahead.
But listen.
Wow.
But this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
The fight that he lost was the best performance of his life.
Wow.
That was his best performance by far. He was brilliant, yeah. And he collapsed from the heat.
Wow. That's amazing.
You know, thank God for YouTube because we can tell these stories, and now people can go and look at
I used
it
to
black and white.
listen. I used to talk to Joey Maxim all the time because he was a pit boss in the hotel in Vegas. And
After boxing, that's
yeah,
what he did?
Really?
Yeah, and I would go and talk to him every fucking day, every night. It was nighttime. I was going to nighttime and I would talk to him.
Would you talk about fighting?
Yeah. I talked to him about the Robinson fight, and I said, "How did you feel?" He said, "I didn't worry about. I fought animals. He's a little bitty guy. I wasn't worrying about him. I fought animals. He's nothing. He can't hurt me. I fought animals. I fought Woodcock. You know what I mean? I fought Charles and all these guys. This guy can't hurt me."
Yeah. And those days, the heavyweights were 185,
Yeah.
190
He
pounds.
fought heavy. He fought for the heavyweight title and all that stuff. He said, "These guys can't help me." He said, "I wanted LaMotta so bad. They wouldn't give me LaMotta. I wanted him so bad." That's who
Maxim wanted?
Yeah, I wanted because that was the money fight. LaMotta was the big draw. He was the
Right.
money. People didn't know that back then. LaMotta made a lot of money. He was the big draw.
Interesting.
Yeah, him in
Why
Detroit.
was that?
Listen, Detroit's a black city, and he's the biggest draw in Detroit. When he went to Detroit, when he fights in Detroit, he's the biggest draw.
LaMotta?
Yeah,
The Raging Bull?
He won his title in Detroit, right? When
Yeah.
he beat
Tommy. No, who did he beat?
Sudan or the
Sudan.
yeah.
The history of boxing. God, that's amazing. These guys today, what do they fight? 2 fights a year?
Fights a year. When Ray was 46 years old, his final year, I think he fought like 13 or 14 times.
Wow.
Going 10 rounds.
Harry
It's
Greb
amazing.
got the record with 35 fights a year.
Wow.
Can you believe this man?
That's crazy.
He's an animal.
Absolute
He's
animal.
an animal.
Well, you did 15.
Yeah. That's nothing to 35. 30, how much? Listen, this is, for me, I had 15 fights a year. I didn't have enough time to go in the gym and train and spar. I was fighting. Imagine them. They must have had drinks and just went back in the ring.
They had to walk around.
When-
And if they
yeah.
had to make weight, they had to walk around and be
Yeah.
in shape.
Yeah.
You know, they'd get a call on a Tuesday. Can you make it Saturday night? I got a 10-rounder for you. Like, yeah. They had to, and they had to make weight.
They had to stay on
They
shit.
walked around. If their pants were tight, they knew not to eat dinner. That's the way it had to be.
If they can't
Wow.
make the weight, the other fight would say, "I'll fight you, but you got to give me $10,000. You don't give me. You need the money, so you have to give him the money to fight him.
Yeah, and the guy was only making 4,500 anyways.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's. How would you feel about that, Mike, having to
What?
be in shape all the time?
I wasn't in shape.
Yeah.
I was in shape, but listen, no.
You were just.
Listen, no,
Camp,
so-
you were.
It's all my life. That's all we did was work all day when I was 15, 14, 13. And like, Cuss would call my school and say, there's a bad accident at the house. We need him right away. We have a problem at home. And so they would send me out of school. And I would go to the gym just to box and spar with like Frank Bruno or somebody, or Carl the Truth Williams, up and coming fighters. And I would box them and get experience boxing with them.
Cuss would get you.
By the
out
way,
of
I just saw Frank a few weeks ago in London. The guy looks like he has a 30-inch
beautiful.
waist.
It's
He's
awesome.
such a striking, good-looking guy. And people, when I do the introductions at the London O2,
Yeah.
the biggest hand is always for Frank Bruno. They love him.
Listen-
British fans are great.
The best. I
They
remember,
love fighting.
when Henry Cooper was alive. Man, did you ever meet Henry Cooper?
Yeah, I met him. I did a Tony Simpson fight in the 80s.
He
and I
was
met
just
him.
a
yeah.
beautiful guy. And he passed away, but he was a beautiful old-time fighter.
Old school. A bleeder, though.
Yeah, but he'd fight you to the death. He had some great knocks.
Listen, he
knocked some
dropped
guys dead.
Ali.
He dropped Ali, too. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Wow.
But he had some knocks.
And then-
He knocked some guys dead. Woo! He may have knocked them out in 1971.
He had a left hook.
But they woke up this morning. Rip Van Winkle, they all old now and shit. They dead. He knocked them dead.
Wow.
Great left hook.
That reminds me. What do you guys think about this young fighter that just recently died coming out of the
Ukrainian
ring?
fighter? What
Yeah,
was
the
he?
Ukrainian guy,
Two kids just died.
Dadashev.
Tell me about that. I don't know.
What I mean. I guess they said there's video of him talking to his trainer.
Buddy was his trainer, right?
Yeah, Buddy McGregor.
Yeah, talking to his trainer, and he's saying, if you can't protect your head, I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna tell him to stop the fight. How do you get into a position like that as a fighter, where you're you're not defending enough to protect yourself.
Sometimes being a fighter and getting hit, sometimes you get in a state of what is that? What is this? It's almost a state of bliss. You don't even.
Euphoria.
Yeah, you see it going on, but you can't stop it. It doesn't even hurt, but it stimulated your brain. It stopped your brain from working for a split of a second. And then sometimes you may bust an aneurysm while that's going on. Then you slowly die.
Wow.
Yeah. It's, a lot of people, we look at Ali and Parkinson's syndrome and everything, and it's not like Ali had a career where he took beatings or anything. But I used to go to Deer Lake before I was even in this business and watch him train. And, put the headgear, and Ali used to love to go hold on the ropes in a corner like this and let guys like Larry Holmes just beat on his body, and then Ali would slip and everything. But he wasn't afraid to take shots in training because they just have that headgear on. And people don't realize you take two 13-year-old girls, and if they have a pillow fight every night, one of them could end up punchy.
Yeah.
You never know how many blows you can take just because it's soft and you're protected. And
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of having, I think in Nevada, 140 pounders now have to use 10-ounce gloves. And you see guys getting beat up, whereas they'd be better off with 8s and just get whacked out. And 5 weeks later they're in good shape.
Why do they have them wear 10-ounce gloves?
I don't
They
know.
assume that
protection. They believe.
it's more of a cushion when it's.
Oh, well, that's just a heavier
Yeah, but
fist.
you can get knocked out with any size glove. You
Yeah.
can die. You can die with any size glove. 18-ounce glove, 22 ounces, 10 ounces. You can die.
These kids that play soccer and they practice
Yeah.
headers,
Yeah,
100 headers a day.
yeah, yeah.
That's some guy kicks the ball at you and you're doing a header with it. It's like getting
Listen.
punched in the head.
Yeah.
Science proves it. The one drop of water will drive you insane, absolutely kill you. So imagine punches.
Yeah.
That's just a drop of water. Would make you punch drunk, make you brain dead. So imagine really punches and beating you down with foots and kicks and knees and elbows. Water would do it.
Is there a way to take a punch to the head other than blocking
No,
it?
there's no way to
you
take
can't.
a punch. You don't know.
You
if
want to
this-
limit
You don't
those,
know if
right?
the one's gonna kill you is gonna be like this or like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually it's an accumulation
Yeah.
of blows.
Yeah.
And then one, it's just like, the worst thing we always hate to see this
Have
is
you ever
when
witnessed one?
what's that?
You witnessed a couple of deaths?
Yeah. And I almost try to just block them out because it's just, and one, I forget who the kid was. It happened at the Taj Mahal. And then they found out later that the manager, the guy had lost 4 weeks prior, should have been on a 30-day no
Suspension,
training
yeah.
thing. And
They try to get
and
that
it was
money.
he fought in Canada, so they slipped it through and, they put him in the ring and he shouldn't have been in the ring. But when I was a kid, I still remember as clear as can be with Benny Kid Perrette and Emil Griffith. And I mean,
And I remember
I can
Dooku
see it in
King
my
like it was
mind
yesterday,
and
Dooku
knew
Kim.
that he was done.
I remember Dooku Kim like it was yesterday. You wouldn't think, if you saw the fight, you wouldn't think Dooku Kim was losing.
Really?
He was throwing down.
Wow.
He was throwing down.
That's so interesting that you could be taking that damage and not even really.
You don't feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, they don't
Listen,
know it.
some
Yeah.
of those fighters, right, I know they're on autopilot. I saw guys get knocked out cold and they throwing punches.
Yeah.
They knocked out. They throwing punches and knocked out on the floor. They
Tommy
knocked out,
Morrison,
just
when
punching.
Mercer knocked him out,
He was still punching.
he was throwing punches while the doctor was there.
Why is that? You just program that. It's just an instinct. Why
Nervous
is that
system?
happening? Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do the consciousness still remember we're fighting?
Yeah, that's
You
really
know?
interesting. You get knocked into another dimension,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
But you're still fighting in this dimension.
Yeah. Well, Michael, how has it been watching Mike since he was a kid?
That must
come
be a
up
trip,
and
huh?
seeing that, you've
Seeing me go to
witnessed.
prison,
Yeah.
seeing me go through that craziness, almost killing myself many times. And-
One of my favorite stories about Mike is when he's fighting the fours and the sixes and come to Atlantic City, and we had back then ESPN was like a fledgling cable
Yeah.
network, and the number one show on ESPN before they had football and everything was Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
Wow.
It usually would be like
Atlantic City had great
Thursday.
buffets too.
Yeah, great
Great
buffet.
buffets. Great buffet. I was a poor guy. I didn't used to know this. I used to
That's-
stay in the buffets.
That's why the press was always there. You know, the press,
Really?
they love that free food.
Oh, I love the
Yeah.
buffet.
Stayed
I
in there.
stayed in the buffet.
Yeah. Oh, hell
Me
yeah.
and
The,
Coach used to drive up there. We stayed in the buffet.
So Mike was coming in as this young guy. So anyway, he's coming to the ring. I don't know. He's like 6-0, 8-0, all knockouts, whatever. He's coming to the ring. And Atlantic City is known for a lot of Vinny Boombatzes. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, back then, right?
Yeah. Right. Hey, what's going on? Hey, yo, Vinny. Oh, So
He's talking real talk.
these two guys are sitting at ringside, and Mike comes out. He's been seen on ESPN and USA, and it's before he started getting those weekend fights, on the network TV. He's got the black shoes, low cut, high, low high tops, no socks, solid black trunks, the towel with just the hole cut out, And these guys, hey, look at this guy. Hey, where's your socks? And they're like yelling at him. Hey, hey, what the fuck? Who's this guy? I don't know who it was. It was like 90, 2 minutes in, boom, knockout. And I can remember, and these two guys, oh, wow, look at that guy. And I leaned, after I announced, the winner by the knockout victory, and I leaned over and said, hey, want to ask him about his socks now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Buffer, what the fuck,
What the
But
fuck?
you remember those guys back then?
Oh, they were
Those
everywhere.
guys?
That's a
Wearing those Versace shirts, the
Yeah.
fake Versace shirts
Oh,
with
they
100
were looking
chains.
good, though. They were looking good though.
That was that's the 80s.
That's
Mullets.
a trip.
They had the mullets and the whole bit.
Oh my God, that's such a scene. How did you get into this? What was your
Yeah,
path?
what happened?
How did you I mean, dude, your voice is iconic. They made a fucking video game, Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
That was
my first big check. Okay. Anyway.
that was huge.
Yeah. On not PlayStation. What was that on? It was like a special platform.
Dreamcast.
Dreamcast. Yeah, that's right.
I had it, dude.
Yeah.
And then when you got to the end, you would fight you, and you would morph into this giant, muscular, insane
shit,
fighter.
Mike.
Do you remember that?
I've been
I
told
do.
about it, but I'm not a video game
Oh, my
guy.
God.
I just took the checks,
Yeah,
Mike,
of course.
Mike, back then you got a lot of fucking girls, didn't you? You were the man back then,
Yeah,
Mike.
no
You was a
doubt.
young
I was
handsome
Had to
fucking
be.
announcer.
between after from 1972 to 1997,
All those celebrities you
98.
saw back
I was
then?
single, and those were good days to be single.
Man, what it
was,
were, I
it was
bet.
insane.
How did you get into it?
We're talking about all these fights and everything in Atlantic City, and I'm a big boxing fan, a super fan. My oldest son is probably about 12 or 13 at the time. We're watching the fights on TV. It's a split decision. The ring announcer, you remember Frank Shane?
No, I don't remember.
Frank Shane was a ring announcer. His wife, Eva Shane, was a
Eva
judge.
Shane, she's the judge.
Yeah, and her husband's Frank. And Frank used to do ring announcing. And he was a good announcer. He was, he experienced and everything. But I didn't realize that it was sort of like a common thing. A lot of guys would give a score, and instead of giving you the two different scores and saving the winner for the final score, this guy just announced score 1, score 2, and then you knew who won the fight. So I guess those guys at ringside were, hey, I know who won the fight. Oh, okay.
Oh, they're gonna kill you, man. When they hear this,
But you knew who won the fight. And
Tiger's
it took
gonna
away
kill
that drama of for the winner by split decision. And no, or
Yeah.
still, you get
Yeah.
that big, man, everybody's waiting. They shut up and listen, you get that
Hell yeah.
cathedral moment, and then
Yes.
pop the crowd. So my son goes he literally just he throws a TV guide down. He's like, man, I hate that. Dad, you could do that. And at the time, I was making a living as a model, and I'd been doing some TV commercials and getting little speaking parts here and there. So I guess a 12, 13-year-old kid thought, you know,
His
that's
dad
all
could
the
do
same
this.
thing.
Yeah,
Announcer. And I put together a resume that might have said I had experience, which of course I didn't. But the thing I pushed back then was I sent him a headshot. I didn't know that the promoters hired the announcers. I thought maybe the hotel casino did. So I contacted all the directors of entertainment in Atlantic City, and I included a headshot. It was like that James Bond sort of a look, and I said that the image of the hotel. I put this in writing like what a jerk off, but I did it, and suggested that the image of a hotel casino would have that James Bond look, a little. And so one of them bit and said, asked, the promoter to use me. I was dreadful. I was on USA Fights on cable. I was really, really
Who's the main
dreadful.
event? You
I was
remember the
horrible.
main event?
I remember some of the names. One of the guys' his nickname was the Hebrew Hitter.
Oh,
The Hebrew.
Herb the Hebrew Hitter something. Brad Jacobs knows exactly what his name is to this day, and I can't remember, but there was some, I don't remember any of them becoming stars, but it was 6 months before I got another chance.
Wow.
I videotaped it. I looked at it, and I said, and still to this day, I will occasionally look at a show and try to improve. I'm just very conscious of always trying to be a little bit better.
What was that first fight? What was it about it that you were like, I could do way better than that? Were you just you hadn't found your voice yet? You hadn't found your style?
Yeah. I've always tried to improve technique, on the microphone and that sort of thing. But timing and be a little more familiar with the scorecards and that sort of thing. I was for years I used to do all the fights. Now today I just do the main event, and I would get there early. I would go to each dressing room, make sure I had the right color, the trunks and the records. And what I was always amazed at, Mike. Sometimes you go into a dressing room and I would say, the undercard guys, I'd say, "Is this right? 20 wins and 5 losses," and the fighter would go, I don't know. He'd look at his manager or his coach. He'd see he didn't even know his own record.
Wow.
It's crazy. We used to do fights in Maryville, Indiana,
Yeah.
French Lick, Indiana, all these crazy sites
Crazy
for
towns.
top rank. Yeah, and you had a lot of small town guys. I don't know if they were the best fighters in the world, but they could put on a pretty good show.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. They were fighting for their life, probably.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, yes, they were.
What was the first fight where you came up with the "Let's get ready to rumble"?
Yeah, how that happened?
Here's the thing.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, I love it.
Excuse me 1 second. Let me call my lawyer.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Anyway, we started. We're in the era now in the '80s of the main event. It's music. They have speakers, and it's exciting. Fighters come to the ring, and the ring walk, a spotlight, and everything. So you have this energy. People come. Especially, we would have fights in the resorts, in the ballroom, and the theaters.
Those
at
are
the
good days.
Sands
Yeah,
and,
those
and,
are
and
eloquent
yeah,
days.
and
We
the
little
resorts on the
elegant
stage.
days. The elegant days when we came out, we said, "Wow, look at the lights."
Yeah,
Had
and
big lights.
we
and
would have fights
chandeliers.
in the theaters and have all these banquettes. The VIPs would all be
Tables
sitting
and
there.
stuff. Yeah,
those
eating
Vinny
food.
guys again.
Yeah,
They,
eating
hey,
food.
how you doing? Look
They
at the
eating
guy.
Food around the ring,
And so
taking pictures.
we had ring announcers. Somewhere along the line, some ring announcers started to introduce all their buddies on the commission. It would be like, and the New Jersey State Athletic Commission, State Athletic Control Board, boxing commissioner Robert Lee, and then they would introduce the chairman, the commissioners,
Yeah, and
the board
everybody.
members,
Corny shit.
the judges, of course, then all the doctors, and if it was a title fight,
Good God.
the president of the WBC, a unified fight, president WBA too, their supervisors. You killed the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd actually
Like,
you
fuck
kill the
it.
crowd. Here's all this: the music, the lights that come out. It's exciting. Fighters are ready. Mike is in there, ring like this, going like this.
Yeah.
And
Sick.
you've taken away all that energy.
The energy's just
right,
sucked
right.
out.
So, one of the greatest expressions that gets a crowd energized is, "Gentlemen, start your engines." Man, and I did that at the Indy 500, and the place goes nuts. Okay, I wanted something that for the stars of the show. When I grew up as a kid, I used to love to watch the baseball all-star game, and they'd announce each player,
everybody, yeah.
and they'd line up on third base and first base, and I just thought that was so exciting to see the stars of the show, and the place would go nuts, So to me, I wanted the audience to be pumped up for the guys that just came out and are going to go out there and do their thing and been training for 6 weeks. The fighters, they're the stars.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to come up with a hook that would let the audience know, okay, I introduced all this bullshit. Now I want you to get back in line and give these guys a hand. And I tried, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. Like nothing was happening. Man your battle station. No. And of course, the great Ali was famous for saying, "I'm so pretty, I'm ready to rumble, rumble, young man, rumble." And Boudini Brown would join in,
That's sick.
and they'd go with "Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rumble,
Yeah,
young
the
man, rumble."
guys-
Ah!
So good.
Yeah. So I started to say, "Let's get ready to rumble." And it's nothing like you hear today. I would just say, "Let's get ready to rumble. 10 rounds of boxing in the middleweight division." I didn't want it to be like, hey, I'm trying to make something out of myself, but I wanted something to get the crowd energized. And a few years later, when I started doing shows all over the country, I met a guy out here in L.A. named Jody Burry, who's since passed away, and he was a singer. Used to be the opening act for Ella Fitzgerald, and
Really?
supper clubs were real big in the 50s and 60s. And this guy was he was Mr. Show Business. He always had the cufflinks and wore an ascot and had the Clark Gable mustache,
Wow.
pompadour, Great guy. And we were out drinking one night, and he's had a few, and he says, "Buffer, when you say let's get ready to rumble, shut the fuck up." I'm like, "Jody, what?" I said, "People want to react." And this is coming from a guy that performed on stage live and everything. It's the best advice I ever got. It was the best advice I ever got. It made a big difference, because then I started, instead of saying, "Let's get ready to rumble, 10 rounds," I started saying, "Let's get ready to rumble." And then it was, "Let's get ready to rumble," and it grew, and I shut up, and the audience would react. And of course, when we started doing Mike's fights in the late 80s and early 90s, and with Spinks and the fights in Atlantic City, it became pretty popular, and it made a big difference.
Dude, it was awesome. It's one of my favorite sayings in all of sports.
It's been such a blessing for
He
me.
made boxing big again by that age. That made boxing big again.
It makes my skin fucking.
But I say I've been blessed. I've done it for Stanley Cup championships, World Series, NFL playoff games, home openers for the seasons for different sports, NBA championships. It's
You're the go-to
it's
guy,
crazy.
man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so awesome.
It's a great way to start off a sporting event, and for me, it's just very exciting to be there and enjoy that stuff.
It's up there with, because I played in the NFL, it's up there with the flyover, with the Blue Angels Jets flyover. Let's get ready to rumble, dude. It's the same feeling. You're just fucking fired up and ready to rock after that.
And when you do a big stadium and a really big fight,
You ever do Wimbledon?
Wembley,
Yeah.
90,000, AJ and Klitschko,
That's awesome.
90,000, and that was showbiz. The ring walks,
Yeah.
the British fans, like you said, Mike, they're the best. They're knowledgeable, they're supportive.
Listen, right? Even if you beat that guy, if they respect you,
Yeah.
they come watch you fight. You give 3,000 come over here to watch you fight, dude. 3,000, 5,000 people come watch you fight.
Remember when Ricky Hatton fought Pacquiao? 15,000 Brits came to Vegas. 15,000 of them knew they couldn't go to the fight, okay?
Wow.
But they just wanted to have their feet on the ground where Ricky was, you know. And of course, they opened up the ballrooms and had closed circuit TVs for him and everything. Wow, it was unbelievable. The weigh-in was unreal. I mean, just all these British fans.
I remember when
awesome.
when I was going to England, like we were doing bad on hard times, and I would go to England with my wife and my kids, and we would go and then we would just do dinners. We sit down, have dinners, and people would go have auctions, and this was just amazing. They love fighting, and their sports stars that much. They have dinners for them. and
Mike,
this-
you can't walk. You couldn't walk down the street in London or Manchester.
No way.
No way.
No way. Hey, no way.
loved.
No, it's crazy.
No, they know.
So they
They-
scare you. It's scary. You're scared. You can't control them. You can't stop them.
They know. They know
Everybody
where your
just wants-
hotel is.
Yeah, they can.
You
They
know,
wait
they're-
outside.
yep.
Yo, this is nothing like you would ever imagine.
They're
You-
polite, but
yeah.
they're on you.
They're
You know,
in
yeah.
your face, baby. And they start crying and loving you.
Yeah,
Have
right.
the children, everybody there. This is crazy, man.
They just want a little peace.
It's crazy.
They're good fans, though. I mean, they're loyal.
They give you
supportive.
mementos from their family's history. It's just crazy.
Is Anthony Joshua British?
Yes.
Yeah,
He is.
London.
Okay.
Great people, incredible people.
Yeah.
Old race of people. They've been here forever, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing.
They fought Julius Caesar.
There are Roman ruins in the UK. Well, the Romans were everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's insane. Mike, I got to tell you something. I'm going to make a comeback into the NFL. I know, it's crazy. I don't know if I'm in NFL football shape, but everything we talk about, man, it's just like, living your truth and the will of the universe, and I just feel like I'm being pulled back into football, man. I don't think we can do the podcast anymore. You're cool with that? Mike?
What's up, brother? How you doing? You talking to me?
You're wearing the Raycon wireless earbuds. They're so stylish and discreet, I didn't even notice them.
Yeah, these Raycons are so small, I don't even know they're in either, but I hear them really well.
Aren't they half the price of premium earbuds?
That's what I hear.
Go to buyraycon.com/Tyson to get 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. If you've been eyeing a pair, now is the time to get an amazing deal. Go to buyraycon.com/Tyson for 15% off. What do you think of the state of boxing these days?
because of not just social media, but communications today, compared to 25 years ago, it's bigger than ever. And you know how, like, a lot of people are always saying, well, MMA is taking over from boxing. MMA has a solid, loyal fan base, okay? But they could never, MMA, you can't have 50 fights every weekend at a championship level, or, you know, like, I mean, you go on the internet and you go to, like, the different boxing sites and what's happening this weekend, you'll see a half dozen to a dozen really good cards worldwide. And because of communications and the satellites and especially social media now and YouTube, a fight fan doesn't have to miss any fight at any time. Maybe they watch it on a replay or whatever, but they're going to see it. So I think boxing is bigger than ever. And you know, I work in the UK all the time. Unbelievably supportive. The fights at York Hall where it holds, I don't even know, 900, 1,200 people, packed. The O2 Arena.
And just they
Fact.
love it. The English love blood.
And they'll be there, and they'll
love it.
be there
They
for
love
8
it.
fights, all 8 fights. You know, you watch the
Listen,
pay-per-view
it goes all the way
shows.
down to the babies. It's in the baby's blood. No, serious.
Yeah.
Wait till if you see it, you see it. The little kid will come. Daddy, I want to fight that boy over there. No strip. Out of the blue. Yes, that's who they are. They're warriors. Their ancestors were warriors. They fought Julius Caesar.
So interesting.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
great fans. It comes to football, which we call soccer. Whew, forget about it.
Yeah.
They're, you know,
I mean,
Hey, forget about it. You know,
You think about the
They're
English, they're so
amazing.
nice and proper and respectable when they let their bloodthirsty want to fight.
it's so interesting. They've got,
you know what I love is when it's a tradition where they play Sweet Caroline before the main event.
Oh yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah.
Caroline.
Really?
Bo, the whole audience gets into it. So over the last couple of years, when they play it, I get in the ring, and I egg the crowd on. I'm going like this,
Nice.
you know, like Hulk Hogan, like make that side, and I run over the other side, and then they try to outdo each other. They're great fans.
It's so awesome. Are you related to Bruce Buffer?
You mean my brother?
It is your brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you? Because I mean, he's really. Did you guys grow? I mean, when you took over this,
Story, Mike.
yeah.
It's a very interesting story. I have two brothers, Bruce and Brian Buffer. Brian is a retired cop here in L.A.
Wow.
And I was born, I'll be 75 in 10 weeks.
You look
75,
unbelievable.
man.
That's right,
You
son.
look unbelievable.
That's right, your dad, Britain whippersnapper. I was born in 44 during World War II.
I'm gonna do this shit. I'm gonna be
And
75. I never thought about living that long now.
my parents were married like at 18, 19 years old, World War II. She's pregnant, he goes off. End of the war, he comes back. They don't even know each other. But,
Wow.
at the age of 11 months, because, she had to go and work, and so I went to live with foster parents in the Philadelphia area, who I ended up staying there my whole life. So whenever I say mom and dad, I'm talking about the people that raised me.
Wow.
Just like when you say mom, sometimes you're referring to, Camille, yeah. And it's that relationship, that's what matters. And I always knew my real mother growing up. I saw her, every Sunday afternoon. We went to the movies and everything. And so it was perfectly normal for me to have, have this home, and then on Christmas, have another parent come in and bring presents. So it was great, I had to leave it to Beaver life in the 50s growing up.
I had the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Brooklyn and upstate New York.
Yeah. So when I was raised with the last name Huber, Huber. That was my foster parents' name. Social security number, high school diploma says Michael Huber. 1965, I enlisted in the Army, and my birth certificate has Buffer on it. And so the very first day I go to report for service and get sworn in, they, oh, kid, by the way, your name isn't Huber anymore, it's Buffer. So I became Michael Buffer at age 20.
Whoa,
And
that's crazy.
yeah. And then 29 years later, I get a phone call where I'm doing the fights at Dan Goosen's Reseda Country Club on ESPN. A phone call comes in. It says a guy by the name of Joe Buffer called and said, give him a call. Now, I always knew my birth father's real name. And here he lived in L.A., lived out in Malibu and everything. And that's how we met.
Wow.
And that's how I met Bruce and Brian. Great guys. Joe Buffer's wife, Little Mama, the mother of Bruce and Brian. It's like now I've got a third mother, and she's still with us. Thank God, she's in her 80s and as beautiful as ever. And so it just turned out to be great. Bruce, Brian was a cop. Bruce was like this businessman, and so and then those days, the late 80s, I'm starting to get a lot of phone calls like, do you want to do this? Come to the Cowboys, open the game, and so it's really hard. You can't negotiate for yourself. Mike, you've got agents, you got representation. Yeah. So I said to Bruce, I said, look, why don't you take these phone calls and, and we'll make the deals, and plus worked out a thing where we formed a partnership. I had the trademark, was cooking, and I said, you go out and knock on doors and we'll push the trademark and appearances, and it worked out. Then I got a job with this thing called UFC. And it was like they had their fourth or fifth show, and I did 3 of them. In those days, they couldn't get licensed anywhere. Yeah. So I had to go to Montana or whatever. But at the same time, I had a great deal with WCW Wrestling, with the Eric Bischoff on TNT. And it was when the wrestling wars were on, man. WWF.
Big rating wars.
Ratings, 10 each. A 10 share on cable. Do you know the Kardashians don't get 10s?
Wow.
It was like unbelievable. So they were raiding each other, and so WCW had Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho
We
Man
beat them all. I
Savage,
was with WWE. We beat them all. We broke the records.
Ric Flair.
Yeah, we
right?
beat everybody. We broke all the records. We
But
beat everybody during the battles, the wars.
Between the two, Raw and what was it called? WCW Nitro,
Nitro.
Monday Nitro.
Yeah, Monday
They were
Night
on at the
Nitro.
same time, and they each got tens. 20% of all cable was watching professional wrestling.
Yes.
So anyway,
That's
so
crazy.
So Turner and WCW, they said, look, you got this fat contract. We'd appreciate it if you didn't do that UFC stuff. That's going nowhere. So eventually, Bruce occasionally would do like an undercard for me, and he was really, he had those pipes and everything. And Bruce is actually trained in MMA. He's really knowledgeable and all. So, he said, "Would you mind if I try to get my foot in the door?" I said, "Man, I'll
Go for it.
behind you. Go for it." And that's how he got into UFC, and over 20 years now. And he's a superstar.
Oh, definitely.
I see him over there. I talk to him every now
Yeah,
and then.
he told me. He said, "Tell Mike I said hi."
That's so awesome, man. What an incredible story that is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fuck. So he was kind of your de facto agent for a little while,
Oh,
too.
still is.
Still?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we still have a.
Wasn't it awesome when you met them? So, it's my family now.
It really is. Yeah. It's a lot of things have happened to me that are just amazing. Like some people, they think like, "Oh man, you were in foster care." I said, "No, it's the best thing ever happened to me. I was blessed with a
Great
family.
parents,
I had a sister, and I had a mom and dad. And we took vacations, and I grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and it was amazing. Best thing ever happened to me. Oh, you went into the Army during the Vietnam War. 3 years, I never got sent west of Fort Knox, Kentucky. I mean, it's the luck of the draw, man.
Yeah.
I'm making a living with my voice. 11 years ago, I have throat cancer. Tumors, so I had my whole left side of my lymph nodes and everything taken out. Tonsils, little teeny piece at the back of my tongue. Three little tumors. 30 days later, I was back in the ring. After I was 63 and I thought I was done. I figured after surgery I won't have a voice anymore. And it's luck, man. It's a blessing. It's not just luck. It's a blessing.
Because you're not steering
Absolutely.
the car, brother.
Yeah.
Somebody else is steering the car. A lot of
Yeah.
times we think I'm not smart enough to have all this stuff
Yeah.
and arrange myself back in this position. So I know I'm not steering the car. I'm just very grateful to God and the energy to be.
Yeah. That's awesome. You're still doing fights, right?
For the first time, I'm exclusive. For 36 years, a lot of people always thought I was working for HBO. But when I first started, and Mike actually, made HBO explode. Then you made Showtime explode.
Wow,
But
you remember those times?
I used to do all the fights, top rank, mostly top rank fights, but on HBO and Showtime. And we, weekend fights, and I'd take other jobs too. I worked for the promoters as an independent. So then, this guy and Don King leave HBO and go to Showtime. So he's going to fight Razor Ruddock in 1991. And you remember Jerry Solomon with Budweiser?
I remember Jerry
Right?
Solomon.
Okay. So I'm all set to do the fight. Jay Larkin was with, and
I
David
remember
Dinkins
Jay Larkin not
with
with us no
Showtime,
more.
right?
Oh, yes,
And
I remember Jay Larkin.
10 days before the fight in Vegas, I get a call from Jerry Solomon, and he says, I got some bad news for you. I don't know what you want to do. He said, but Seth Abraham, the head
HBO.
with HBO, the head of sports and entertainment at HBO Sports, says, if you do the fight on Showtime, you can never work on HBO again.
Woo!
True story.
I'm talking about
And I'm
bullies
like,
back
what are you talking about? It's like 2 weeks away. He says, nah, So I have to call up Dinkins and Jay Larkin and tell them, I said, look, I've been told. And at that time, Holyfield had the title.
Yes.
Right? He had gotten it from Buster. Holyfield had the title. He's going to fight George Foreman. HBO is going to have this TVKO, which bombed out. And so I have to make this choice. And I'm independent, but I have to make a choice. If that happened like 10 years later, I would sue the hell out of him and walk away with a 7-figure settlement in a heartbeat. But back then, like 1991, I'm like, okay. I
They're
called up.
powerful. They're really powerful.
Yeah, I called
they
Jay
can stop
and
you from
David
getting
up.
a job anywhere.
And Jay was saying, like, is it money? Do you want more money? I said, I'm going to have to make a choice. And so I went with the HBO fights, and Foreman and Holyfield was the next fight there. And then and it was great because Jimmy got his chance, and it put him in the Hall of Fame. So things, it's a blessing. Sometimes you don't think it's good. Worked out great for me, and it worked out great for someone else to
good.
make a living.
It's all good.
I was the first one to say it's showtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope.
How do you feel when those big intimidating corporations are booked? That's what
Oh.
they were back there with bullies and stuff.
Yeah.
I used to fight tooth and nail with them. I knew them when they first got in office, so I wasn't, and all of a sudden they were smelling themselves. They were like big top. They became like tough guys all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, corporate America, man, that's what they try to do, is fucking control everything.
And after I made that choice, I would go to Seth and I'd say, like, well, how about we make a deal? And I even made an offer back then where I said, listen,
How back then? How were you able to make deals with Seth?
I said you can use. I'll make a deal with you if you hire me as part of the broadcast team. Use Let's Get Ready to Rumble for promotion. Put it on HBO shirts and this and that, and I just guarantee that I do every fight. And I was like, nah.
That's Seth right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But you know what? It all worked out pretty good because moving forward,
So you did
I had planned on retiring at the end of last year. I was going to retire at the end of 2018. 74. I mean, things are looking good. I don't have any mortgage. I got cars with no payments. I'm like, I love life.
Hell yeah.
And along comes Eddie Hearn and his dad Barry and DAZN, and they gave me a couple million good reasons to be exclusive for them. So that's where I am right now, where I do fights just for Matchroom Boxing on DAZN, and this DAZN thing is great for fans.
You need a home. That's what. That's our objective in boxing. I want a home. I want a home with this television company. I want a home with this cable company or whatever. This is my home. This is constant revenue, even when we're not fighting.
Yeah. And I made this deal with them, and 3 months later, HBO went out of business in the boxing
they were
business.
gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, man. You got to just keep evolving. Keep growing. Keep taking what the universe brings you, man.
Yeah, the energy.
Well, how much longer you want to keep doing it? Just until
You can't
till
do
you
it no
can't?
more, man. Come on.
I don't know, man.
Right?
I don't know. I have another year to go in the contract, and
We'll see after that.
we'll see. Maybe I'll just do
Mike,
special appearances,
They're
right,
gonna
Mike?
use you till you die, man. You got the voice. They're gonna use it till you.
Well,
die.
thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that.
It's awesome.
That's just how the world is.
It's really
They want to
great.
use it till they can't use it no more.
What do you think of Mike in this stage of his life?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. What do you think?
A lot of people actually ask me that, like, how's Mike Tyson? What's he really like? This and that. And the most important thing is Mike is happy in his own skin.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson is glad to be Mike Tyson.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
Yes. I agree.
And there were times in your life where I don't think you were.
Oh yeah, I agree with that too. Yes.
Yeah. And there's nothing better than being an adult, being a grown up, not a kid anymore, feeling good, feeling healthy, married to the perfect woman. You got kids, you got a life, an income, you're in a position to help other people, and Mike Tyson is happy in his own skin.
And I feel the light.
Yeah.
I really feel the light.
It's awesome. No doubt. It's been such a pleasure. I've known Mike for a little over a year now. And it's been just the most awesome experience.
Isn't it crazy? You saw
35 years, man.
puberty. You saw
Yeah.
you saw me get married, go through my marriages and all that stuff. Wow.
I know.
Oh,
That's
man.
crazy.
That's amazing.
Wait, I got to tell you a funny story. We're in Tokyo, the Tubbs fight,
Yeah.
right? and he had just gotten married to Robin, and her mother was, I'm quite a few years older than Mike and everything. And Mike says, "Hey, would you like to go out with my mother-in-law?"
I love that.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sick, yeah.
you're trying to set him up with your mother-in-law.
She's a good-looking woman. Everything.
May have said, may gave a comment about him.
Oh,
I guess I went over there.
you're
Yeah.
testing the waters.
No, I believe she liked him. I think.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, that's why I would go over there.
You were just seeing if Mike was interested. It's nice. Yeah, Mike.
Was
At the time.
didn't Ali come to that fight? The Tubbs fight?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was still, we both know Ali.
He was
and-
sick then. This is when he started getting.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
at the edge, but he was still doing the magic tricks, the
Floating and shit,
levitation.
levitation. Yeah.
He'd have this fake thumb. He'd stick in his hand, and he would take a hanky and go like
stuff in his
this,
thumb.
and then the fake thumb
Yeah.
But I always
slip
saw
over,
the thumb.
and he'd go like and you didn't know it's like and he'd
Yeah.
get the hand away real quick. 'Cause they had this dopey looking thumb on his hand, but that was Ali, and no matter who you were with, you could be with your mom, you'd be with your wife or girlfriend, and he would always say, "Oh, is this your girlfriend?" And then he would put his arm around her, make believe he's going to walk away with her. He always did that, right? He did that with everybody. It was so sweet.
What he said to my wife, he said, "Oh, I wish I was back and young again, boy.
Yeah.
I would have had you."
But as the years went by, you had, when you talked to Ali, you had to actually put your ear right up to his mouth, and because it was like this, and he'd wave me over, and I put my ear there, and he'd say, "I'm still prettier than you." He did that forever. God bless him. Oh. What a
amazing.
just I can remember like it was yesterday watching a black and white TV in 1960 and Cassius Marcellus Clay, this 173-pound flawless athlete fighting in the Olympics in Rome.
You
And
remember that, Mike?
I remember it. Yeah, man. I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
Oh, just amazing. And he
I remember him fighting Spinks. I remember when I was in the store and I was pickpocketing somebody and the fucking fight was on in the store and the person was looking at the fight and that's how I was able to get his money out of his pocket. And I remember watching him fight Holmes. Yeah, it broke my heart.
broke my heart. Yeah,
Yeah,
same
I
way.
was crying, Cuss was mad, we were all pissed off.
And he had medication that he was supposed to take, like a thyroid
Yeah,
medication.
he was just a man.
And so he tripled the medication because it would make him lose weight rapidly, and remember how good he looked, but his skin was ashy. Something wasn't there. He looked slim, and he was older then, and it just wasn't there. I mean, like as much as we love Ali, he did not like to stay in shape between fights.
No.
Roberto's the same way.
Listen, let me
Yeah.
tell you
Interesting.
something. That's weird you say that. That's where I got that bad habit from watching Ali and Roberto Duran. No, this is the story.
Your two idols.
Yes. Listen, this is a bad habit I picked up. These guys would they wouldn't fight. They'd be at press conference. They'd be fat as pigs. At press conference, get ready to fight a guy in 6 weeks, a week, 6 weeks or something, maybe a month or something. And they look at them, they're so arrogant. Look at they laughing at people, they're talking, they're doing their stuff. And the next thing you know, they get in the gym and they just dying and they don't eat no food, they don't drink no water. They wear this fucking sweatsuit all day until they go to bed. And in the morning, take the hot tub, bath, put the suit back on, run all day, wear the suit all day, hit chopping trees, riding a bike, shadow box,
Killing themselves.
sparring,
Yeah.
push up all day. They're working out all fucking day.
For a month.
Yeah,
8
all
weeks, 10
fucking
weeks.
day.
Yeah.
All day.
Ah,
Diet and hot baths, steam rooms, exercise, shadow boxing, exercising, punching, sparring, jumping rope all day, little water, or animals
wow.
all day.
Just to get back in
And
shape.
listen, this is what happens. They weigh in the perfect weight. As soon as they finish weighing, they start gorging.
Yeah.
Well, they do that today.
Yeah.
These guys. I mean, guys that fight as a middleweight today are light heavyweights.
Yeah.
If they had to weigh in the morning of the fight, they'd be fighting as a light heavyweight. Canelo comes in, he gains 18 pounds. Remember when James Toney fought Roy?
Yes.
He gained 18 pounds in less than 24 hours,
Ugh.
and he couldn't lift his feet off the mat.
Ugh.
You know,
You have to know how to do it.
muscle tissue takes 48 hours to rehydrate. So they're a day short of their
Yeah, they
peak.
are.
You know,
They are.
they're not as good as they could be.
Yeah.
But you talk about Roberto.
But they're doing this
Man.
when after the weigh-in, they're sucking even in the bed. They're eating in the bed, sucking orange, eating grubbing food, eating fruit, grapes. Just I mean, chewing steak and spitting it out. All of me is chewing up, spitting all of me, chewing it up.
Yeah, because they can't.
all day, nigga.
they have
all
to
fucking
dehydrate.
Day. Woo, woo, woo.
Just imagine Roberto Duran, though. He won over 100 fights. And after he moved up from lightweight to welterweight, he never trained between fights when he went to that 2 and 3 fights a year thing.
Listen, he be 195. We got to go to 135, baby. Be 180. Got to go to 135, baby. Got to go to 147, baby.
That's so hard.
You got to see how you look. We look like snowmen.
When he got knocked out
Till
by
we get
Tommy,
shit, yeah.
which was brutal. I mean, he had never been taken out like that. He came down in like 8-9 weeks from 195 to 154. I mean, come on. That's you're killing yourself.
Brutal.
He just was lethargic in the ring. But the guy, you look at him today, his skin is nice. I mean, just imagine if he stayed in shape between fights.
Yeah.
He'd look like a movie star. I mean, he really was a great defensive fighter.
This is something interesting. That has a lot of effect on your nervous system.
Yeah,
That fluctuation in weight.
definitely.
It's not normal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, up and down like that.
We're the only species that
Can do that?
no,
Or does
no,
that?
we're the only species that kill ourselves in the urge of improving ourselves. With the idea that we're improving ourselves, let me say that. With the notion that we're improving ourselves, we're the only species that kill ourselves in that process. Weight pills and all this, all these fat burners, all this shit. The shit that you stick, what's that shit called again? The needles, growth hormones.
Yeah,
all that
growth
shit.
hormones, steroids.
PED.
Can't stop. We're addicted to it. You can't stop it.
Yeah, it's true. Man, Michael, I mean, it's been awesome having you in here, brother.
No, it's been great to be here. A lot of fun.
It's really a pleasure.
Is that your vet out there?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
We got to go check
a-
that out after
that-
this.
Boxing Hall of Fame.
That's a limited production ZR1, 755 horsepower. That's number 444 out of, I think, 1,800 made. And now they come out, and I got it. It's a 2019, and I got it like 6 months before anybody else. Yeah, because I do a few NASCAR races and had some Chevy connections, and I got it. I've been driving these Mercedes and everything. I said, man, let me go back to getting a Corvette again.
Hell yeah.
Good old
Yeah,
USA.
American
Get
car
some
coming
American
back.
muscle,
Coming
dude.
back.
Yeah,
Nothing
muscle
like the
car.
Cadillac.
0 to 60 in
Escalade's
2.85.
the best car in the world, though.
That car.
Escalade.
Oh,
Escalade.
I got my third Escalade,
Yeah.
and now you know what? My wife sees one of these G63s.
The G-Wagon.
We got 5 dogs, and she's oh yeah, the dogs will love that. I'm like, the dogs will love that.
Dogs will
I
love
was
it.
thinking that too, but I would
So-
never give up my Cadillac for that.
Yeah.
Never, not in a million. You couldn't pay me to take that over my Cadillac.
The Caddy, dude. It's incomparable.
I love that Escalade. I got my third one, man, 3 in a row.
Where can people find you? Where can people check you out?
They can go to letsrumble.com,
Let'sRumble.com.
and that'll go to the office and or info@letsrumble.com, and you can
Awesome.
get in touch with us and
You
everybody.
remember the after parties at the fight? That was good times back then. After
Oh
party.
my God! You know, Mike. You know what's funny is Atlantic City. We'll run into guys from 25 and 30 years ago, and like I never saw this guy up. He says, "Hey, you remember that night in Atlantic City? We went to Buddy's bar, and we got drunk." And I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Right? You know, it's some guy was on the other side of the bar, and he's like sent a couple drinks over, and like for the rest of his life he partied with me. You know, he said, "Yeah, I partied with
God.
Michael Buffer."
Yeah.
I have no idea. I run into these guys all the time, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, good to see you again." And my wife will say like, "You have no idea who that is."
Guys like that don't exist no more. You still find guys like that? I can't find a guy like that.
A couple years ago, I'm in
They're out
a nice restaurant in New
They're
York.
out there.
And a guy comes over to the table, and he says, "Hey, you're the guy. You're that Ready to Rumble guy." He's like, "Say it for me."
Oh, I love it.
Oh God.
I'm like, "Hey, listen," I said, "if you were a plumber, would I like ask you to fix my toilet for free? I mean, come on. I'm here having dinner."
Well, listen, let me explain you something. It would have been a time like in the 80s when he would said that you would say, "Let's get ready to rumble," because he know it'd be a circumstances after that. Nicky Scarfo and those guys, they were psychopaths.
Yeah.
They were banned. They were banned
Yeah.
from. They weren't allowed on property, Atlantic City.
Wow.
It was, and man, I would run into those guys in clubs and that sort of thing, and they all wanted to like, "Hey, give me your phone number. We'll keep in touch." And I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, these guys, their phones are all bugged.
Yeah.
That's what I need is to have them call me up and say, "Hey, how you doing? You want to come over to South Philly tonight and have a couple of cheesesteaks?"
Listen,
Yeah.
they didn't fool around. They killed the whole South Jersey. They wiped everybody out. They weren't playing around.
Yeah,
So
They owned,
intense.
they owned everything.
Fuck.
they had the unions for
Everything.
everything in Atlantic City. You
Everybody
get
found
a
the
towel in
truth.
Atlantic City and you dry your face and you had lint all over your face.
Yeah.
And that's because you had to use the mob's shitty linen rental company. it was just like junk.
Ugh.
Oh, it was crazy.
Everything. Video stores, anybody you want to open a video store, anything you want to open up, you have to go to the mob. They own all the real estate.
Was Jimmy Hoffa in that? Was he in that part of the country?
It's
Chicago.
North
Chicago?
before my time, though.
He's a Chicago guy, I think he was. Jimmy Hoffa.
He
Well,
was
he's
union
supposed to be
leader, right?
his final resting place. is Supposed to be the Meadowlands,
I
right?
have no idea.
They said
The
that
bridge,
underneath
built that-
underneath the field is that's
Jimmy Hoffa.
That's crazy, right?
Christ.
Hey,
That's
listen,
intense.
I was looking at something on the YouTube today. You don't know how many missing celebrities there really is? You know? And they just disappeared. Nobody knew what the hell they
There's a YouTube video about it.
Yeah, missing celebrities. They just disappeared in thin air.
I gotta check that out.
Basketball players and everything.
I want to see if I'm on the list.
Not yet, Mike.
Oh, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Thanks, Mike.
Hopefully never. Oh fuck. Well, shit, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing the
was
knowledge,
It was fun.
sharing your voice. I mean, I think we're gonna use that intro from now on. Just FYI.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So, Mike, you're gonna come to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
I want to do that to see the fight, yeah.
I am gonna
I'm
send.
open.
I'm gonna send an email to somebody today and see if they can, get in touch with you. You could be. It's a heavyweight. Yeah, in case
would
somebody's
like to
watching
do
right
that.
now, we're talking about December 7 is
Yes.
AJ and Andy Ruiz rematch
Rematch.
There we
in
go.
Saudi Arabia.
There we go.
We're
That'll
going
be
to see our
dope.
brothers over there.
Yeah. Mike, you should definitely be
Oh,
there.
absolutely.
That'd be sick. It's awesome. You're bringing the fight in?
Come on.
I will be there.
Yeah.
Not
It's
working?
Matchroom is the promoter, and it's going to be on DAZN here in the States. I kind of have a schedule-wise in the West Coast. I'll probably have to watch it around noon
Wow.
and 9 or 10 o'clock in the UK. So that's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon in New York. But fight fans will find a way.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Mike, you got anything else?
I just appreciate you gracing us with your presence. This was an awesome experience for the fans.
Good to be here, Mike.
Thank
Absolutely.
You very much,
Good to
Mike.
be here. It was good to see you Friday night too at
Oh, he was awesome.
that charity event.
Wasn't that? Hey, what's up with the Pump Brothers, man? These guys are
They're
amazing.
it is amazing, man. They know everybody in basketball, baseball.
No, I'm talking to the guy. He's in my hotel room. We're talking. Next thing he said, put on the phone. It's Jamie Foxx.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
Man, what you
Yeah.
doing, man? He wants you to know who you want, Mike.
Who are the Pump Brothers?
A couple of guys from the Valley
Yeah.
out in Northridge.
Okay.
Their mom and dad both passed away from cancer, and they, for 19 years, in their parents' name, they have raised millions and millions of dollars for cancer research and the oncology and chemotherapy and radiation and
Yes.
screening.
And me and my family, we've been friends with them for hundreds of years and stuff, and we just willing to help them whenever they need us.
Yeah, good
That's
guys.
awesome.
They put together a thing every August, first week of August, and man, the who's who of sports.
Yes, whoever you are.
Dr. J was there,
actors,
Mike.
celebrities. Eddie
Shaq.
Murphy was there.
Just
Shaq was
just
there
for
with his
Mike.
son.
Yeah, just for Mike. With Shaq, Evander, Buster,
Yeah.
Jim Gray.
Yes.
It was amazing. That was
Eddie
just for like
Murphy.
Mike's and
You
before
got an
that,
award, right?
Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric and Eddie Murphy was there for
Yeah.
Ced. And it's super. Eddie looks great. My God,
Really does.
He does.
He's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, he does look good. Saw pics.
They
You
they have
deserve
like
it.
5 awards and they categorize each one, but it's like they honor each guy. One was a doctor that's done great research.
Oh, he was
And
an
then-
awesome doctor. He-
Oh my God, this guy actually found a way to have dogs
Smell if you have
smell the
cancer.
breath and tell if somebody has diabetes.
A cancer or something like that.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Scared me.
Yeah.
I'm scared to have him
his-
smell my breath.
Devoted his whole
I'm
life.
scared to have him smell my breath. I might got all kind of bullshit, nigga.
Call 911. What? No.
Oh fuck! Wow, that's amazing.
K9, no.
That's so awesome. It's amazing what they're doing now. You know,
Oh,
the advancements of science. On that note, we're gonna get out of here.
Let's do it, man.
Well, thanks for watching and listening, everybody.
Having
Be
great
sure
guests.
to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. Check out our website, hotboxingpodcast.com. Until next time, I'm Evan Britton.
And I'm Mike Tyson.
and let's get ready for hot boxing.
In the house,
We're out of here.
MB, Mike
Peace.
Buffer.